Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
80% of falls in the home occur in the bathroom. Don't put yourself or a loved one at risk. There's a safe bathing system for everyone's budget.
Enjoy a bathing experience that combines safety, comfort, and excellence. If assisted living is not for you, a BCI walk-in tub may well be the answer, giving you the safety and freedom to live independently. A BCI walk-in tub is the most affordable and comfortable walk-in tub in the market today. With our dual drain technology, your tub will drain quickly, and for those that still like the feature of a shower, our two-way bliss gives you both a handheld and overhead shower head. We offer the best financing in the industry with payments as low as $99 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months with approved credit. For comfort, safety, price, and selection, it's got to be BCI Walk-In Tub. Be one of the first 50 callers and save $1,500.
Call 800-354-4377, 800-354-4377 for a free no obligation in-home consultation.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to another edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. I'm Doug Weischadle here with Dave Weischadle. We're here to give you a whip-around look at some of the latest news that happened in the sports betting industry over the past week. This week, in our state and national reports segment, we've got Super Bowl numbers coming out of Nevada. We've got records being set again by the state of New York. We've got also reports and benchmarks in Illinois and Kansas. Deals, we've got Gambling.com making a deal with a newspaper organization that we're going to talk about. We've got another retail deal for another sportsbook in Washington, D.C. And we also got a couple distribution deals to talk about for streaming TV networks. Industry updates, we've got a couple sports books in Massachusetts misbehaving. I guess you can call it that.
It's a, it's a teaching moment, I
exactly.
guess. It's understandable, and I think everything is kind of smoothed over.
We've got new product launch from Sport Radar, and also we've got news coming out of Maryland and Massachusetts regarding launches.
Okay.
We're going to round up the show with our normal legislative update segment. We've got news coming out of Hawaii. We've got a federal bill coming out of New York that's going to be very interesting if it passes, and also some news coming out of Ohio as well.
Okay.
So let's start off with our numbers. Last week's Turnpike Sports handled the geolocation checks for the Super Bowl that just recently happened, Super Bowl 57.
They're always the most fascinating
Yes.
numbers to me. I guess I like to know where people are betting at.
Yes.
So I always love those numbers from GeoComply.
Well, we've done the sports betting transactional numbers. Now we're starting to get the actual betting wagering numbers, handle, revenue from the different states that people were able to bet on the Super Bowl in.
Yep.
First one up, we have the Nevada sports books reporting that they took in $153 million in wagers for Sunday's Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth highest of all time for Nevada for a Super Bowl, but it was still about $26 million below last year's Super Bowl.
Well, you got to remember, Arizona now has sports betting.
Yes.
So if you're in Arizona, you don't have to cross the border into Nevada to place a sports bet. You can stay home and do it in Arizona.
Yep.
So, which, by the way, was where the Super Bowl was held. So it should be interesting next year because the Super Bowl is going to be held in Las Vegas.
Well,
So those numbers should be very interesting.
the handle was down, but so was the revenue was down. The sports books held about 7.5% of the handle, which translated into about $11 million in terms of revenue for them. Their lowest total since 2019.
Well, like I said, when a state at your border gets sports betting,
Yes.
your sports numbers are going to... Speaking from a guy from New Jersey who just endured a year of New York mobile sports betting, that New Jersey's numbers went down. So,
Well, you know what? I'm very curious to see what New Jersey's Super Bowl numbers are going to look like.
yeah, we haven't gotten them yet.
And last note for Nevada, and this is thanks to Ben Fox over at VEASAN. He pointed out that Nevada sportsbooks still have only lost 2 Super Bowls to bettors. They lost the since 1991. It was the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and also the Niners-Chargers Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those were the only 2 the books lost.
See,
to bettors.
I would think the Patriots-Giants, that was the helmet catch.
That was the helmet catch.
So that ruined the perfect season for the Patriots. So, yeah.
The David Tyree helmet
Yes,
catch.
yes, David Tyree.
Moving over to New York. New York reported their full month numbers for January of 2023. Needless to say, they set records, as usual.
Everyone thought they would have a $2 billion handle.
Came close.
They came pretty close. But
They actually had a state monthly sports betting record for the mobile industry, which was about $1.789 billion. Their total monthly handle, retail and mobile mixed in, was also a record. That was $1.799 billion.
wow. Okay.
So they almost hit the $2 billion mark there. But again, I think a couple of the books held them back because there was some negative revenue generated by some of the books.
Okay.
In terms of revenue, they set another record there, $149 million and change. I guess you can call it change. It's a couple hundred thousand.
Change.
$149,866,749, and also national record for taxes, $76,258,333.
Okay.
And that's the 51% tax rate. So,
So that was the
Yes.
Now New York has one full year.
Yes.
So January numbers represented one full year because they started in 2022 January 8th. Was that the day?
Yep.
Okay.
And, it just shows you
What
that
a year it's been, huh?
even New York couldn't hit $2 billion.
Yeah.
So
Eventually they're going to do it. I mean,
I don't know. If they didn't do it this time, when are they going to do it?
The numbers have been staggering
Yes.
with regard to the mobile numbers out of New York. So
They're coming closer and closer and
Yeah.
closer. And all-time,
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
An all-time mobile industry handle, just over $18 billion.
Okay.
So that in and of itself is very impressive.
yeah.
Illinois reported their December numbers, and according to
December numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
According to the Illinois Gaming Control Board, or Illinois Gaming Board, IGB.
IGB. huh?
IGB. They hit almost $10 billion all last year, $9.751 billion wagered through Illinois sportsbooks.
Okay.
Third straight month, they topped $1 billion in a month.
All right.
So they're getting to be like New York and New Jersey a little bit too.
Sure.
now,
Yeah.
so-
Look, I mean, some months they took over New Jersey's second spot.
Yes.
In handle, anyway.
Yes.
So
over in the state of Kansas, every so often we have to bring in some of these new states here, and we're going to be doing this more often because Kansas actually set a record for themselves. They finally had their first monthly handle of over $200 million.
wow. Okay.
So that industry is
So what
starting to
month
grow.
was that though?
That was January.
That
for
was
Kansas.
January.
Yes.
Okay.
Illinois is the outlier because they're like 2
Well,
months behind
Illinois
everybody.
and Arizona too.
Arizona's 2 months. Illinois is now 1 month behind
Okay,
everybody.
so-
So, but again, it was a very nice number for January in Kansas. And also we had Indiana reporting their January numbers.
All right.
They actually became the fourth state to have 4 consecutive months of $400 million in handle. So,
Indiana, huh?
yeah, Indiana's chugging along right there, too. So very nice to see that. The industry's growing. And I'm very curious to see the Super Bowl numbers now for New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio.
Well, Pennsylvania, I'm very curious about. Pennsylvania and New Jersey, because
Yes.
there's a lot of Eagles fans. I mean, I think one of the most interviewed person during the Super Bowl was Tom Gable down
Yes.
in Borgata.
Yes,
So
yes.
every time I turned on the radio or turned on the television, someone was interviewing Tom at the Borgata, who's the head of the sportsbook at Borgata, which is a great sportsbook.
I'm very curious to see Ohio's numbers, and also according to the Mass Gaming Commission, just so people are aware of this, we may or may not be getting the first numbers coming from the retail industry soon.
Yeah.
There's some regulation on the book where for the casinos themselves, the gaming revenue numbers, they have to be out by February 15th. There's a regulation on the books for sports betting that the books have to report to the Gaming Commission by February 15th. There's no requirement that has to be out on the 15th.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's a little bit of a difference.
they're all going to figure that out
Yeah.
because sports betting just started on January 31st.
Yeah.
So they'll probably have some numbers. They'll probably get a look. By all reports, the sports betting was great during the Super
They were
Bowl
busy.
in Massachusetts.
They were
so,
busy.
Because remember, Massachusetts, they don't have mobile yet. They
No.
have retail. So you actually had to go to the 3 casinos and sports books in the
Yep.
state.
And
to
from
do
all
it.
reports, they had lines coming out of the casinos
Well, yeah,
for these things. So.
yeah.
But we'll be talking about the mobile industry in Massachusetts later on in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's head on over to some deals. We're going to start off this segment with a announcement by the Gambling.com group. And this is another newspaper deal that we've been seeing a lot of different companies doing to get their content out. It's more of an affiliate marketing type of deal where Gambling.com has done a deal with Gannett for their USA Today network.
Okay.
They'll be providing content for sports betting all the way across the USA Today network. You're talking about 200 different publications, azcentral.com, USA Today, Tennessean.com, which is a huge one, especially wherever you see sports betting, you're going to see Gambling.com group content being distributed by Gannett through the USA Today sites.
These are pretty popular kind of deals. I
Yes.
mean, I saw one time, what is it, Better Collective had one, and
Yep.
then New Jersey. I don't know if they still have it or what's going on with that. But, that's, when you have, our newspapers are in New Jersey. You can go to NJ.com. And
Yep.
they actually have a betting section there, so you can go and read all the articles. So that's a pretty popular thing with the news organizations.
Well, when you have New Jersey, it's New Jersey Advanced Media.
Yeah.
And they do the deals for those newspaper sites.
Yeah.
And it's a similar type of deal where you're going to see content being produced. And also you're going to see Gambling.com content included into what they call the SportsWire suite of fan sites that they do.
Okay.
That's available in over 20 different markets that have legal sports betting.
Great.
As a matter of fact, when you do research on some of the games, one of the sites I do call up are the SportsWire sites, which is actually really, really cool. They give a fan indication, and they also have a regional reporter. They all all that
Well,
stuff.
this
So,
is the time of year when I
Yeah.
really rely on those sites and those
Yes.
reporting because, when college basketball, we're coming up to March Madness. I mean, there are so many teams and there's so much information you have to figure in on that many teams. It's almost impossible. So, you really rely on some of these sites and the reporting, and especially the local reporters. So they give you really good insight.
So we're going to leave the newspaper industry, and we're going to go down to Washington, D.C. for a retail sportsbook deal between Elys Game Technology and TNL Hospitality.
Oh, okay.
TNL Hospitality is planning a brand new hotel complex that is right on the border between Maryland and D.C.
Okay.
So that's going to create some additional traffic from the Maryland area to go into Washington, D.C. It's actually 2700 New York Avenue Northeast in Washington,
Okay.
D.C.,
All
which
right.
is very close to the Maryland border.
Boy, if you're a sports bettor, what a
Yeah.
great place to stay.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. And what they're talking about here, it's a hotel with a sports book in it.
Wow, that's great.
It's going to be having what's being described as an express betting areas, where visitors to the sports book, or to the hotel, I should say, you can use the Build Your Bet mobile tool that Elys has to create your betting slip before you even get to the book.
See, that's great. I mean, even if you're in that hotel just to watch the game, there's no better place to watch games than a sports book.
Yeah.
So, even if you're not a bettor, I'd even go there just to, be entertained for the night.
Yeah. It's going to have a 4,900 square foot sports betting lounge with kiosks and tellers.
Wow. Okay. Tellers too, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
They're going to have
Nice.
restaurant area of about 6,900 square feet. They're going to have a VIP area where you can go in and have your own little space.
Great.
So
Good.
very interesting deal. I love Elys, the way they're approaching things. Elys is basically at the forefront of not only the restaurant, putting a sports book in a restaurant area. Now they're being taking the lead in doing a hotel with a sports
That's
book.
great. I would love to stay there.
Not a lot of places will allow that, though. You have to take a look exactly where you can do this.
Yeah,
Not every state allows sports books to be located in certain areas. So
DC is very interesting with their
DC is going to be
with
very,
their
very interesting.
sports betting rules and regulations.
Well, between the hotel sports
Don't they
books
have the
and the
first
gentleman's club?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
sports
say.
book.
Don't
Yep.
they have a strip club? I
Yeah.
guess you call it a gentleman's
Gentleman's
club.
club.
Did it open yet?
Never
Did
say
it open
strip
yet,
club.
or you
It's
can?
open.
Okay,
opened, yeah.
all right.
So I'm very curious to see their numbers for the Super Bowl
Yeah, that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well,
because that was popular.
yeah.
at
Hopefully
that
they
time.
do a report.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leaving DC, we've got 2 distribution deals to quickly hit. We've got Sports Grid announcing a global distribution deal with Freevee, which used to be IMDb. It's now owned by Amazon, and it's called Freevee.
I have that on Roku, and I did watch Sports Grid on Freevee. Am I pronouncing that right?
Freevee. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's TV,
It's-
but it's free.
It's
Freevee.
a big yellow icon
Yeah.
on your on my Roku screen anyway.
Well, it used to be the IMDb streaming channel, which
Okay.
actually confused the hell out of everybody because no one knew what IMDb was. It's Internet Movie Database.
Okay.
But it's now
No,
Freevee.
I checked it out. I
Yep.
checked out Sports Grid on Freevee. It's great.
And they're going to be moving all their sports. Amazon's moving all their sports programming onto a separate app anyway. So you're going to be able to have a separate app dedicated to Freevee as well as Amazon Prime. So they're 2 separate things. Sports Grid's available in the standalone app, and it's going to be integrated into the new Prime Video app whenever they launch that from
Okay.
Amazon. So they already planned it a while ago, but now it's delayed, and we'll see when they launch that.
Okay.
Also, another distribution deal with SimWin Sports. Now, SimWin Sports is a virtual sports league.
Okay.
they-
There's a lot of those out there, aren't there?
Well, this is fantasy sports and esports as well. It's going to combine a lot of different avenues of the sports area industry. SimWin Sports did a deal with Simul TV, where they're going to be broadcasting the games for their football, basketball, baseball leagues, whatever other sports they develop, even soccer. And you're talking about celebrity owners in this league. You've got Magic Johnson, Jerry Rice, you've
Wow.
got Marshall
Okay.
Faulk, Mike Singletary, Tracy McGrady, Penny Hardaway, LaMelo Ball, Dr. Jen Walter, and a whole bunch of other people.
Wow,
so this
that's
is a
great.
celebrity-owned fantasy virtual sports league where you actually have to buy in and own your own team.
See, that sounds like fun.
This is a little different than a lot of the other ones out there. I'm very curious to see how this looks when they launch later this year. So congratulations on all those deals. Let's head on over to some industry updates.
Game starts at 20, bet slip is empty. I gotta call KG.
KG, what up?
I got nothing for you, Fox.
Ah, come on. Jalen. You want to tell?
Yeah.
Don't call somebody on live TV.
Well, you answered. I have other friends anyway.
Marshawn, Barry.
Listen, I need some tips.
I like LA.
LA?
No, Dallas. That's
Dallas?
No, Dallas.
Dallas?
How about Detroit? Barry,
call y'all right
his
now.
heart.
Vanessa.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Let's go with our gut.
Well, we're going to start off talking about Massachusetts. Now, Massachusetts just recently launched their retail sports betting industry, and no sooner do they launch the retail sports betting industry, we have a couple of issues popping up with all three of the retail books. All three, MGM Springfield, Encore Boston Harbor, and Plain Ridge Park Casino, all had issues with, I don't want to say illegal sports betting. That's the phrase everyone's using.
I think there was
technically it is.
There is a misunderstanding. Well, Massachusetts has a rule that you are not allowed to bet on colleges or universities located within the state.
Yep.
I think they have a exception is if they're in a tournament, then you can. But
Exactly.
apparently there was some misunderstanding, and I think a couple of Massachusetts schools were placed
Included.
on the board for about like a couple hours or
Yeah.
something like that.
And-
I think it was only a matter of hours. I think 5 to 7 hours. I think one of them was Merrimack College. Someone thought it was in Florida. So
Yeah, that's an interesting
you know what?
excuse
Yeah.
right there.
So-
But again, it's a matter of
it's growing pains. You know, you're
going
going
to have these
figure out it.
mistakes right off the bat. And again, it's one of those situations. If it was in a kiosk, that's a programming issue that probably had a little issue with the burp and the technology. That may have just been that way. It may not have been programmed right, the one kiosk.
Yeah, I know. It's just there's so many moving parts
Yeah.
to sports betting. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of electronics, and a lot of things have to be programmed, and sometimes things get through the cracks. And for me, what is significant that all three sports books had the same issue, which means it was a mistake. I mean,
Exactly.
there was nothing nefarious about it. So.
Each one did a bet on a different team, but it wasn't all the same.
I think Merrimack
team.
College, like I mentioned, was one of them. I think BC Women or something like that, or was
they
on
all
the
had
board
some
for a
different-
couple.
yeah, they all
I
had
mean,
some
it wasn't
different-
a lot of betting on
No.
these things anyway. So I think there was one or two where I
It's
think one was
just-
part of a parlay that they just took out and things like that.
The
So-
one good thing about this happening so quickly is the fact that now the Mass Gaming Commission can figure out how to handle these down the road,
look,
too.
now obviously it's a common problem because all three of them had it, and now you know how to deal with it.
Yep. And I'm waiting to see how the Gaming Commission handles it, because there's been talk about doing some sort of like a trial-like procedure to find out if these were actually something that was just innocent or something else that was going on.
Well, I think
So
it was innocent because if all
we
three
don't
have
know.
the same issue,
We don't
so.
know. I mean,
But
it
that's
really,
that's my gut feeling.
yeah, gut feeling. No, this was totally.
And let's be honest,
mistake. Yeah.
they're a week old into their
Yeah.
industry. So,
But again,
there's
it's,
gonna be some
it's
mistakes.
really now about the procedure on how they handle it, which, like I said, is a good thing it happened this quickly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And speaking of Massachusetts, in one of their last commission meetings, they did verify that they are going to be launching the online sports betting industry in the state on March 10th.
Yes.
Again at 10 a.m. I don't understand the 10 a.m. too much.
I don't. Maybe
They did that for the retail.
Yeah, there was a good build up. I mean, for entertainment purposes, it was great. Everyone got there at 9:00. Everyone got in position, and they did all their ceremonial first bets and all their things. I don't know what they're going to do for online.
I mean, do the commissioners
Someone's
just
gonna,
like sleeping a little later than
take out
everything?
a phone
So I don't know.
and watch it. But
It'll be interesting. So, but again, we have that was announced. That's going to be before the NCAA March Madness tournaments, both men's and women's, just a couple days before.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I like the way Ohio launched. Like
just shotgun?
it did 12 o'clock midnight on
12:01 they
12:01
Yep.
on New Year's Day. Boom.
Well, Massachusetts will have 10 mobile sports books launching on that day.
By the way, we were up in Massachusetts and we started seeing commercials for FanDuel.
Oh my God, did I see commercials for FanDuel?
Saw a couple of them.
Yeah.
FanDuel commercials.
I saw
for,
DraftKings
Sportsbook.
a couple times too.
I didn't see DraftKings.
Yeah.
I saw the FanDuel commercial up in Massachusetts.
There was a lot of FanDuel commercials on certain channels.
I saw it 2 times.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see the advertising blitz as they go along. But 10 mobile are coming, and 11th will be coming later. That's Betway. The 10 are the basic ones everyone knows about, So we'll just see exactly how the launch goes for everybody, and it'll be fun to see it up and running.
Yeah.
Sport Radar over at ICE London, which was just recently held, unveiled their AI-driven computer vision technology, which will allow sportsbooks to get more and more graphics, more and more content being streamed over the data wire through their sports books.
Yeah, everything's streaming now.
Yep.
So
And Sport Radar supposedly held a series of live table tennis demonstrations at ICE London to actually demonstrate how this technology worked.
Oh, okay.
The system uses a single camera setup to analyze 120 video frames per second. So that's incredibly fast.
Oh, wow.
That's much faster than what we've seen before. I don't know if it's going to change any latency issues.
Well, that's
with
what I was going to
streaming.
see. Is that the latency issue that they're trying to address? Because
I think it's going to allow for more data to be transferred. I
Okay.
don't know exactly how much the latency issue is addressed by this, but it's the volume of data is what this is more for than anything else. And I'm also very curious. You mentioned I just mentioned the latency issues. I'm wondering what the latency issues were for the Super Bowl and the streaming networks.
Yeah, because that was a record streamed event. What was
Yes.
it, like 7 million streams or something like that?
But again, we'll see what those latency times are. Everyone's worried about the latency. I think this is a step in the right direction. The more
absolutely.
the more data you have, well,
Every
you know
year,
what?
every year,
it's a
this
give and take.
technology gets so much
Yeah.
better. It's just absolutely amazing.
You know, I spoke too quickly because now I'm sitting here thinking about it. There's a give and take between the latency and the volume of the data. So maybe an increased amount of data may not affect the latency as much as we think.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we'll just have to wait and see. This is all artificial intelligence driven technology. It's going to be fun to see how everyone uses it, and it's just another step in the right direction for the industry. Maryland issued a mobile sports betting license to Long Shots for launch in the state. Their online partner is Betfred.
Oh, okay.
Betfred's been very busy lately.
Oh,
they
yeah.
did Virginia. They did.
They had a great year. Yeah,
they did
great
their
year.
retail book in Las Vegas too.
Yeah.
First time they're doing
Yeah.
that. They like I said,
Was it
Virginia,
Mohegan, right?
At Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan Sun.
Virgin Hotels, Mohegan at Virgin Hotels, or Virgin Hotels at Mohegan Sun, something like that.
Okay.
The way that name is. But again, they're now in Maryland as well as launching in, what was that? They did Ohio, they did Virginia, they did Nevada. Now they're in Maryland.
Virginia, they have a deal with a soccer team.
Loudon FC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Betfred, another state to, spread the Betfred name in.
Yep.
We've got in Michigan, the SI Sportsbook now has a license to launch. So that's the first time they're going to be in there. They're
I have
taking over.
yet to see that.
Well, they're taking over for Twin Spire.
Okay.
Twin Spire
All right.
recently, actually towards the end of last year, went out of the sports betting industry, and they're focusing on horse racing. So 888 came in with their SI Sportsbook. They did the partnership deal with one of the tribes that had already partnered with Twin Spire. Now they have it all vacated. They're all launching now, so it's going to be great to see. BetParks is also live in Ohio now.
I heard that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, BetParks is a big app, especially in Pennsylvania and New
Yes.
Jersey, because Parks Casino is in Salem, Pennsylvania.
Yep. They are now live Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Michigan for BetParks. That's it for the industry updates. Let's finish up with our legislative roundup. Well, like the first segment of the show, we're going to start off in New York. We've got New York State Representative Paul Tonko, who's bringing forward a bill called Betting on Our Future.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
All right.
federal bill which would ban all online and electronic advertising of sports gambling.
Interesting. Okay.
Honestly, I don't think it's a complete ban. It just puts all advertising under the control of the FCC. The FCC, under this bill, if it's passed, can control what is being said, what the messages are, what the advertising amount can be in terms of how many times you see it. So it may change the industry somewhat if this actually passes. I don't know if this is going to pass.
I don't know. It's one of those things. The one thing about the gaming industry in this country, they have a very strong union. So, there's going to be a lot of pushback on this. But, I'm sure he raises the issue. I'm sure advertising is a concern for a lot of states. I know this is a federal situation. But, Yeah, but at least it gets the conversation started. What should we do with advertising? I know we were just talking about Massachusetts. We're starting to see commercials there. It should be interesting to see. I know they have the gaming board up in Massachusetts has some concerns with regard to advertising, and especially advertising, young people seeing the advertising. So it moves the conversation forward a little bit. Like I said, I don't think this bill is going to go anywhere or anything like that. But like I said, it starts the conversation about advertising and gaming.
I just wonder if this type of bill would hurt online casinos more than online sports books.
I don't know. Well, look, here in New Jersey, we have DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. We have Caesars sportsbook ads, but we also have FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars online casino ads. Just as many.
And don't forget the little ones too, like PlayStar Casino. We're starting to see all that.
Yeah, no, I mean we have a lot of ads, but it's not just one entity giving us all these ads. We have over 25 online gaming entities in this state, and everyone does one commercial a day, which isn't a lot for them, but it seems like a lot for the consumer when we're watching it.
At least one commercial a day.
So when we're watching it, it seems like it's constant advertising for gambling, but it's not. It could be just like one entity doing one commercial a day, but when you have over 25 gaming entities online, it seems a lot.
Well, with regards to online gaming, since we're at the cusp of seeing whether or not more states enact online casinos and online poker, I wonder if such a bill would put a chill on that expansion.
Let me tell you something.
Because it's harder to get the word out if you can't advertise the way you've been doing.
If you're a gambling entity, the real money is with the online casinos, not the online sports books, because like in retail gaming, the big money maker is the slot machines. And if you can have real money slot machines in your own home, and I know one of the big things for online casinos is everyone's pushing the live dealer thing. I mean, we'll talk about advertising. I saw a commercial today for the live dealers, and I forgot what it was because we see so many gaming ads. But no, the live dealer and for the table games, and of course, just like retail, the slot machines are the big money makers for everyone.
But will companies put money into launching online casinos in other states without having the advertising ability to back it up? So, but speaking of advertising, we've got our last two topics for this segment. Both having to deal with advertising, as a matter of fact. Okay. We have Hawaii. Now, we talked about this bill that was just introduced in Hawaii last week.
Oh, about the advertising for Las Vegas or something? Was it just specific Las Vegas, or was it
was just specific Las Vegas.
Gambling ads?
No, it was just specific Las Vegas.
Just Las Vegas,
yes.
Okay.
And right now, that part of the bill that was introduced did not make it through.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Free speech issues.
Yeah.
So, but the proposed tax that was part of the bill for creating a problem gambling program made it through.
Good.
So that is actually the part that everyone cared about more anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just interesting to see a bill that prevented advertising of a certain area.
A certain city. Yeah. I mean, it was a little weird. But
but Hawaii's on the right track for that. Last but not least, we have Ohio. And again, this has to deal with advertising.
Okay. It's a big issue.
Governor DeWine actually released the statewide budget for the next 2 years. It's $87 billion 2-year budget. One of the statements in the budget increased the tax on sports betting.
Okay.
Right off the bat, they're now going from 10% to 20% in this new budget. And according to the Office of Casino Control Commission in Ohio, Matt Sculler, the executive director, he actually said this was in direct response to all the sports books disregarding their warnings about advertising. so
it's punishment.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know if that's going to happen. There's still work to be done with all the budget and everything else. This could be changed later.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I mean, if they find out this tax is just punitive, that's probably he should have probably said that if he wants this thing to go through. Well, if it's just punitive,
again, the average tax across the country is about 19%. So it just brings Ohio closer in line with everybody. So I don't think you're going to hear too many complaints, especially if the January numbers in Ohio are going to be staggering when we see these numbers.
Oh, I'm sure they will be.
But that's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Keep the press releases coming in. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is the email address to send the PR to. If you've been following along on TV, our ticker's been shooting right by us below. Has even more stories that we didn't talk about in the segments today. And also, the full print version will be put up on our blog, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button, and you will see our book report in full print version there to read.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.